Hendrick Motorsports faced severe penalties from NASCAR after being found guilty of tampering with air deflector components. As a result, the Phoenix team and its drivers were stripped of 100 regular season points and 10 playoff points. Additionally, the crew chiefs were suspended for 4 races, and a hefty fine of $100,000 was imposed on them. This punishment by NASCAR is considered to be the most substantial fine ever levied against a single team in the organization's history. The staggering sum of $400,000 is a record-breaking amount for any violation committed by an individual team. In a similar incident, the entire Colleague Racing team, which includes driver Justin Haley, was subjected to the same set of penalties. Elton Sawyer, the senior vice president of competition at NASCAR, commented on the situation, stating that it was evident that the parts in question had been altered in an unauthorized manner, although your like and subscribe are always authorized. In another instance, Denny Hamlin faced a deduction of 25 points and was fined $50,000 by NASCAR. This penalty was imposed after Hamlin was found to have intentionally wrecked Ross Chastain during the final lap of Sunday's race. Following a practice session at Phoenix Raceway, NASCAR officials decided to remove the louvers from Hendrick Motorsports cars. The alteration of these louvers, which direct airflow over the radiator ducts and out through the hood, can impact the aerodynamic pressure of the vehicles. Elton Sawyer, NASCAR's senior vice president of competition, firmly declined to provide further details regarding the modifications made. As a consequence of the penalties, Alex Bowman's position in the standings fell significantly from 1st to 23rd. Similarly, William Byron dropped from 4th to 29th, and Kyle Larson descended from 5th to 32nd. Although Chase Elliott moved up from 29th to 26th in the standings, this improvement was not offset by the fact that he was unable to participate in the Phoenix race due to a broken leg. The replacement driver for the number 9 Hendrick team, Josh Berry, and all other Hendrick team drivers lost 100 points in the owner standings because they do not accumulate points in the Cup Series. However, they do earn points in the Xfinity Series. The loss of 10 points can have a significant impact on the outcome of the NASCAR 10-race playoff. At the commencement of each of the first 3 rounds, drivers' playoff points are reset to 1, and the winner of subsequent rounds being the driver who amasses the most points. Stage victories award 1 playoff point, race victories grant 5 points, and regular season standings contribute playoff points according to a scale ranging from 15 down to 10, then 7 down to 5, and finally 2 up to 1. Consequently, a driver's ultimate regular season standings position may be drastically affected by such a points penalty. In the NASCAR playoffs, each round consists of 3 races, and after each round, the 4 drivers who have not secured a win and possesses the fewest points are eliminated from contention. As a result, the accumulation of playoff points often plays a crucial role in determining the outcome. Elton Sawyer, NASCAR's senior vice president of competition, made it clear that Hendrick Motorsports' vehicles were found to have louvers that had been altered in ways that did not comply with official regulations. The recent introduction of new hood and louver designs has been accompanied by manufacturing issues and suboptimal performance. While teams received guidance on how to properly fit the louvers, they were explicitly prohibited from making any other modifications to the Dallara-provided components. In response to the penalties, Hendrick Motorsports announced on Wednesday afternoon its intention to appeal the decision. The organization argues that the louvers they received did not meet the required specifications. There was a lack of clear communication regarding permissible modifications, and the penalties imposed were inconsistent with those issued in the previous year. Notably, last year's penalties were given for modified parts discovered after the race, whereas the current penalties were handed down on the first day of the race weekend. Colleague Racing, facing similar penalties, also plans to appeal the punishment imposed on driver Justin Haley. All NASCAR teams utilize components from a common manufacturer to construct the new next-gen cars, which were introduced in the most recent season. With this uniformity in mind, NASCAR issued a stern warning to teams, stating that starting from the 2016 season, they would be subjected to harsh penalties if they performed any unauthorized modifications. In the year prior to this warning, NASCAR had already imposed 3 fines that bore a striking resemblance to the current situation. During the Phoenix race, NASCAR confiscated a louver from Hendrick Motorsports' garage due to its failure to pass the required inspection. Jeff Gordon, the vice chairman of Hendrick Motorsports, commented on William Byron's victory at Phoenix, stating that each case in NASCAR is unique, but the current situation involving the louver is even more unusual than most. This penalty arises from the fact that the track had been subjected to a parity test in a wind tunnel. Gordon further explained that in his opinion, the circumstances surrounding the louver and its inspection created a considerable amount of confusion. However, he chose not to delve into the specifics, as discussing the minute details would be tedious and uninteresting. Kyle Larson asserts that William Byron's victory in Phoenix can be attributed to his impeccable performance during the final restart of the race, with Larson beginning at the pole position and Byron winning the race with the assistance of louvers acquired from other Chevrolet teams. All three Hendrick Motorsports drivers managed to secure spots within the top 10. This marked Byron's second consecutive win. Jeff Gordon commented on the situation, stating that the recent success of the Hendrick Motorsports drivers, despite the louver-related controversy, has further substantiated the attention and hype surrounding them. He expressed confidence in the drivers, warning that if they continue their current trajectory, they will be a formidable force to be reckoned with. Their back-to-back wins can be credited to their unwavering teamwork and their ability to perform well together. As a result of NASCAR's penalty imposed on Denny Hamlin for deliberately wrecking Ross Chastain during the final lap at Phoenix, Hamlin finished in 23rd place, while Chastain ended up in the 24th position. In his podcast, Actions Detrimental, Hamlin confessed that his car had posed issues during the additional time at the Phoenix race. According to Hamlin, he and Chastain had been at odds for nearly a year, and during the race, he intentionally allowed the right side of his car to collide with the left side of Chastain's vehicle. Hamlin was aware that his car's handling would cause him to lose positions, which ultimately led to the clash between the two drivers. As Denny Hamlin approached the finish line, he made a bold declaration to his friend saying, "You're coming with me, buddy." According to Hamlin, who is also a podcast host, this statement was deliberate, not a mere slip of the tongue. He intentionally loosened his grip on the steering wheel, intending to drag his rival along with him in the race. Hamlin later regretted his actions, feeling foolish for dropping 15 positions due to his misguided decision. Hamlin humorously requested not to bring any more cars into the mix, stating that they were the only ones up there. He likened his decision to letting his rival in through the front door after making him climb a fence. In a previous incident, William Byron was penalized by NASCAR with a 25-point deduction and a $50,000 fine for intentionally colliding with Hamlin during a caution period at last year's playoff race in Texas. After an appeal, the points penalty was reduced, but the fine was increased to $100,000. As a result of the appeals court decision, NASCAR revised the wording of its potential penalties for intentionally damaging another vehicle. The organization changed "and/or" to "and," meaning that the appeals panel must now impose both penalties: a loss of 20 to 50 driver points and team owner points, and a $50,000 to $100,000 fine. Interestingly, if Hamlin had not admitted to his intention behind the collision, he might have avoided the penalty altogether. However, upon confessing his intent, Elton Sawyer, NASCAR's senior vice president of competition, deemed his actions were deliberate, prompting NASCAR to enforce the penalty. NASCAR responded to the situation involving Denny Hamlin, who openly admitted to intentionally wrecking Ross Chastain's car during a race. Elton Sawyer, senior vice president of competition for NASCAR, confirmed this information. In his podcast, Hamlin stated that he could not pretend the incident was an accident, as it was definitely intentional. However, he clarified that he did not mean to let his team down in the process. Following the race, Chastain and Hamlin had an extensive conversation. Observers noted that both parties seemed to be interacting in a polite and civil manner. In his podcast, Hamlin acknowledged that Chastain is a tough competitor, explaining that when Chastain has high expectations, it is nearly impossible for anyone or anything to bring him down. Hamlin expressed that after their conversation, they both realized they missed racing against each other. With a better understanding of one another, they can now compete more respectfully and harmoniously on the track. Hamlin mentioned that both racers called for a truce, and now they will wait to see how the situation develops in the future. How do you think this unprecedented penalty will impact not only Hendrick's team, but the future of NASCAR as a whole? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and hit the like button and subscribe for more videos like this.